Hello, welcome back to my wonderful channel in your darkest hour, our midnight love tarot show. It is midnight right now, and I have a few cards already pre-shuffled here. And the main message here says, don't be the same, be better. And our wonderful guardian angel says to ask for support. And our wonderful oracle of Chaldea has a really long message. I had a little pre-read with it. So on my last reading here, it was amazing. I did this in a really high-powered day. If you want to go back and look, that was like my best. I feel like that was like my best performance ever, where I felt like really comfortable. But maybe that whole Uranus transit and Mars really gives a lot of confidence. So a lot of times I feel like my readings kind of like continue, you know. If you've been watching this for a little while and you're keeping up, maybe you might know exactly like where your story is here, you know. Well, let's get started. Let's see what's the current energy. Like, how was your day today? You know, what did you do today? You know, I did some self-care, took care of myself here, and did some shopping, took a little nap. All right, here we are. First card. Oh, they're already telling us already. Don't be the same, be better. Okay, justice has come. Some justice and balance has returned to our life as of the current energies right now. So that's very good. Right? So maybe that's part of us being better. Where did we come from? We came from really standing our ground, really having, you know, strong mind, a strong body, standing your position and what you believe, and we're heading for a celebration. Ooh, I love this so far. What's the end of this deck here? Destiny. Ooh, we see how destiny was a big part of where we were headed to from that last reading, and then here it is. It's in the outcome. What came right before that? The devil. He was a big deal. You see how the readings continue. I hope that because of that last reading that you're here again, because of the fact that, you know, we're continuing the story about where we are now since those last couple of days have passed by in our life here. And what do we have here? We see the Hierophant, and we see how like this rebirth has brought about the strength here that we're having. This new dawn happened to us here. We stood long enough for a new day to come. And here we are, you know, the divine child. You know, it took a lot of strength. That's right. Exactly. This Eight of Swords right here. A lot of it. A lot of it. But strength came out of it. What came after here? The Knight of Swords. Oh, is that, what is he? Is he not, he's not a Knight of a Sword. I know he might have a sword, but he's not the sword. Believe it or not, he is a Knight of Rods. You know, a little youngin' here. And we have the Hangman. And this Hangman is a little different. He's more like a watcher. And what's the end here? The end here is a reflection. We're still very inward here in this reading. And so let's go back to like where this balance here was about. And yeah, we have the Five of Cups one more time. So this is really the Five of Cups twice. So there's a lot of reflection, but hey, here's the Two Cups, right? I guess that's what we were standing tall for, is to get through this good place. And what do we have? The High Priestess. What a blessing here. The Justice and the High Priestess is in the middle of this chart. And we have the Queen of Coins. The Queen of Pentacles in traditional terms here. You know, the Queen of Pentacles is a very dignified woman, you know. And she obviously is giving a coin to this thing. So, I know the High Priestess keeps a lot of secrets. So far, we can really see that, you know, maybe there's a lot of psychological things about what we've gone through. We're still in that phase here. And what do we see here? And the Three of Cups in the line of the Ace of Cups. That a new beginning comes here under that High Priestess. Ooh, what else? A Four of Cups. But not in a way. It's the end, because the person's really looking at the celebration here. You know, in this case here, what do we have? A Five of Pentacles, but not the normal Five of Pentacles. It's the coming home Pentacles. And we see the rejoice over here. And let me just look real fast here. So it looks like the Wheel of sorry, it got emotional for me. Looks like the Wheel of Fortune's turn for this story here. We have the Five of Swords at the end here, you know. The best news ever is that in this Five of Swords, despite this butterfly here coming to its fate of like what it should be destined to become, you know, just a memory on a wall, because that's really what happens here in this process, is that, you know, this is a butterfly who's going to be pinned and put in a book somewhere and put the little name on the bottom here. Do you feel like that sometimes in your relationships? And we have it here. So we're reflecting. Is probably why I just got really teared up here, is because there's a we are in a middle process of a bittersweet time here. Why? Because, you know, like that Aretha Franklin song, though I went through some nights consumed by the battle. No, but what was the very first line? Like a warrior that fights and wins a battle, I know the taste of victory. See? Like a warrior that I know the taste of victory. You know, what happens here? Justice has to happen before this victory, and you see it right here. You see it right here. You're able to see that. You see that, that even when we break down this Three of Cups, what it did, it had cups in there. And had togetherness in there. You can't break that up. You can't make that up. You know, and you know, it's quite possible that he is looking at this the butterfly for its beauty and not while it's alive, hopefully, and not just the thing. But maybe, you know, we could feel like that, like we've been a butterfly, or anybody in our life could be like, you know, are we really going to get these piercings? Well, the best news is this Five of Swords says no. What came after that, before that, was a very long rethinking of something, you know. Yeah, of course. Look right here. Justice has happened again. This is a Justice card here. So Justice has happened again. And in these cases, see the Three of Swords, right? That's what we're talking about here. This little heartbreak card. Had really began to have some thought about it and how it came about. And instead, Nine of Cups was actually the result of that. And when that Nine of Cups actually came, which you know what it is, right? Nine of Cups is what? A cup's are all these flowers, so it's stuff that you like, all the dreams, right? But you need one more cup. That there was a rethink, right? Another perspective. And we go, maybe we shouldn't sacrifice the butterfly anymore for the book. Maybe it's better when it's alive, you know, somewhere. And maybe somebody else will catch it and put it there. No. And what do we have in the Ace of Cups? we see that the chance and the opportunity again to have this start. Maybe this is what this High Priestess is saying over here, because in the line of here is a wonderful little Knight of Wands, and he is quite a pirate. Make that how you want it to be. Maybe a fantasy, maybe a rogue, maybe both, right? But the Wheel of Fortune is very powerful. The card of destiny, right? Same thing. What is that? A wheel. And the Five of Swords here, the Five of Cups here, the Five of Swords here, the Five of Cups here, but the lovely Queen and the Knight. And you know, in the row over here, justice was given, and that's probably where we are in the maturity of some of our love interests. You know, one of us is just probably just a little less mature. But make note, we're probably dealing with twin flames here, okay? And that's kind of like how it goes. You know, we meet our people, and sometimes they're not ready because they're not there. You know, just the thing about, like, you know, twin flame relationships or these guys is that we spark that fire in that person, but you know, they really have to grow into that fire. You know, they're not, some of them not ready to live that fire. Live it, you know, means a lot sometimes. It could destroy their life. But there is a message from our wonderful Chaldea here. It's a little long. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful message. Just considering what we've unfolded here with this new beginning here, or, you know, a possible and a reunion of some kind here. The reunion is twice, okay? It's here twice. And the Wheel of Fortune is here twice. I want you to know that. And the Five of Cups is here twice. But in this case, you see the Five of Cups. She's just really taking it in and creating like a kind of a temperance with it, you know, and really healing from it and allowing this. But he still has his 2 cups going here. As you can see, it's just another love reading here. And anyways, let's get into Chaldea and what they were saying. It says, continue on your healing journey with enthusiasm, but without forcing things to happen more quickly than feels natural. Sometimes the body will be ready to let go whilst the mind is still holding on. At other times, the mind may need to be patient as the body processes an experience. Trust in your own timing and rhythm. There is no need to be impatient or to judge yourself. You are summoning the spiritual fortitude to tackle an issue which has previously held you back. When the time is right, the healing shall happen more easily than if you try to push forward prematurely. Things are going to work out. Be positive. I think that's such an amazing little piece to understand that we're not rushing. And like I said, sometimes when we have twin flames here, or we've started the fire with a really good someone in our life, sometimes we're a little bit ahead and they have to catch up, and we have to play that game because healing is so different. People don't realize that these wonderful connections are really healing ourselves and them from so many things. You know, we are not perfect people coming into the world, and yeah, you had this attraction, but believe it or not, there's a whole big old mission behind it all. Well, thank you so much. This was a little shorter reading. I hope that you enjoyed it. I think it really continues from our last bit because we are still dealing with destiny. We are anticipating change. we are having a reunion. We're seeing that someone is coming out from the cold. We'll see that how people are waiting with open arms, and songs like "So now I'll come to you with open arms, hoping you see all the love." I forgot the words. Anyway, thank you again. Bye.